mean bonjour. Hi, bonjour. So guys, we're here this morning with Paula Afonso. She's a Brazilian who lives in Canada. She works there and she has an amazing job to share with us, and we're going to have this podcast with her. So Paula, thank you so much for being here today with us.
Thank you, Paula. It's a pleasure to be here in São Paulo in this gorgeous day, sunny day.
Yeah.
You know how important this is for me, right?
Oh yeah, because Paula, she's been living in Canada for how long?
Over 6 years.
Wow.
Yes.
And so why did you decide to go to Canada, Paula?
It's so funny, this story, Claudia. My first experience living abroad was when I was 15 years old. So I lived in the US for 6 months. And when you live abroad, it's like you change yourself. You're never the same, right? So when I came back, I always had a dream to live in another country, but it was so expensive. And also I didn't know the possibilities of living abroad. What are my options? How can I live legally? That's the most important one. Legally, outside Brazil. And when I was 35 years old, I was scrolling on my Instagram and look at my friends. I saw a friend from Maceió, and he was living in Toronto, Canada. I was like, Eduardo, what are you doing there? Like, Eduardo in Canada? And he used to have a stable job in Recife with his wife, like a stable. I could not imagine why he decided to live in Canada. And the first thing that came to my mind was Canada, ice, right? Cold. It was the only thing I thought. And also the only city that I knew before was Toronto. I only thought about Toronto. So when I called him, I decided to call him. Hi Eduardo, what are you doing in Canada? Why you moved?
You changed.
Right? And he said, no, I came to do a postgraduate program with Hi Bonjour. Hi Bonjour is a company that helped me with all the entire process, to choosing the right program, to choose the right city for us, registration, visa, everything. I was like, okay.
Beforehand, so you can contact Hi Bonjour and say talk about your dreams and or intentions, and they will help you with all the process.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So I booked a meeting with Hi Bonjour, that's the company that I work for now, and I said, okay, I'm married, I have 3 kids, and I want to see my options. So what are the options for Brazilian who already has a degree in Brazil and wants to study abroad? So they showed me the options. You can go to study English to improve your English skills, or you can take and study like a higher education program. So since I didn't know Canada, I said, okay, I want to explore first my options. So first I went to London, the city that I live now. And I spent with my entire family for 2 months studying English.
Okay.
So I was in a certain level of English, my husband in another level, my twins, I have twins. At the time, my twins were like 14 years old. So I also went to the same school, and the 4 of us studied in London. So there's a London in Canada.
Yeah. So you're in London, but in Canada, right?
It's so funny because I traveled to Chicago once, and I was in reception. It's like, oh, where do you live? London. Oh, London, Canada. Oh, okay. And
as if it were less, right? Oh.
And she started laughing. Oh, I'm so excited. I know, like, yeah. This is because Canada was colonized by England. So the names of the streets, the river, it's all related to real London. Yes. So when we came back with my family, everybody was sad.
So how long did you stay there?
2 months.
2 months.
2 months. So I realized that Canada was not only snow. There are other things also.
Did you go in the winter or
winter time?
Okay.
And I'm from Recife, so I'm used to 25 degrees winter. And when I went there, I got like minus 20, minus 25 degrees.
But did you feel like this cold? Because people say that here in Brazil we feel much more cold because we're not used to, our houses are not prepared. So how was the experience to you?
Because
Did you really feel freezing?
I wanted to go in the worst time of winter, January and February, because if I can live during those months, I can live anytime in Canada.
Okay.
So when I got there, really, the clothes is totally appropriate for the winter. So you can buy a winter jacket saying, oh, you can get minus 30, minus 40 degrees. The boots And also when you go inside the house, you can put any temperature that you want.
Okay.
So sometimes in winter time, my husband put 25, my son wear shorts, and outside it's snowing, right? You turn on the sink, hot water, right? Everything is warm. You go inside the bus, the stores. So
they even have tunnels, right, under the streets that you can walk, and then you don't have to feel the cold outside.
There are some modern houses that the parking space for the car in the house, it's heated. So when snow it melts. It's amazing.
Very modern.
Yes. Like expensive house, you can do that. Even like some bathrooms, the tile, it's warm.
Wow. Yeah. So they have to be prepared for the cold weather.
I think I felt colder here in São Paulo than in Canada because of that. So I remember the first time it's a short story. My first day of my English class, it was snowing a lot. It was like snowing. It was like 10 inches of snow. And the traffic was terrible. And I told my husband, everybody's going to get late. Look at the weather. It's terrible. And the class started at 9, and we got there around 9:30. So when we got there, we went inside the class. Everybody was there. So it was a lesson for me that Canadians, they check the weather before they leave the house. If they see, okay, the weather's not too good, I'm going to leave the house earlier.
And also that they are on time, right?
On time British, all the time.
Yeah. Because I think this is part of our culture. For us, like if you have a party and it says it starts at 8 o'clock, no one is going to be there at 8 o'clock. It's like, no, I'm going to be ashamed if I'm the first one to get there, right? So at 8:30 on, we can start the arrivals, right? So, and I think this has to do with our culture. I took some students to Switzerland this past July, and we were Brazilians. We were the only group arriving late. So and then I decided to tell them, okay, guys, the time we have to meet is at 1. Instead of saying 1, I would say 15 to 1, or even half to 1, so that we would be on time, because then they would arrive there at 1. So I think this. So talking about these cultural differences, do you have anything else to share about living in Canada?
Yeah, so this is a huge one. So I remember the first year. So when I went back to Brazil, and then I registered for a marketing program in Canada, and I moved with my entire family. So we've been living in London for over 6 years. I remember the first year I have 3 kids. So the twins, now they're 20. Duffy, the younger one, is 11 years old. When we moved, he was 5. And I remember the first year of his school, I used to take him walking to school. And his school starts at 9:15. And we were always there around 9:20, 9:25. So it took me a while to get used to, because we're so used to, it's okay to be 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late. So something that I really learned over time in Canada.
Okay.
I would say Canadians are extremely polite. So they're always going to say sorry to you. For example, you walk in the street and you bump into someone. Even if it's not your fault, the person will say, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. So they say the length of sorry. Canadians, they understand the value of each season. So during winter, they're going to be outside skiing, snowboarding, ice skating, and doing things related to the snow. When it's fall, they'll be in parks, riding their bikes, enjoying, because it's beautiful, right? The fall for me is one of the most beautiful seasons. During summer, they go to the lakes, they go swim. So they understand the seasons, and they try to enjoy with their family all the season, not to just wait. Brazilians, sometimes when they move abroad, they pass the entire winter time complaining. Oh, the winter's going to take so long. It's going to happen every year, right? Just need to learn how to live with it. So this is something that I learned over time. My first winter, I complained a lot because it's not because of the 2 months, it's because it lasts a little bit longer. But now I understand, okay, the sun's going to come back, the spring's going to come, the fall's going to come. Let's enjoy now. Also a difference between Brazil and Canada is lifestyle. So Canadians, the work and life, they balance really well. So they like to drive their kids to school, they have breakfast together, they go to work, they come back, they have dinner with their family, they do something together. And something that I learned. So I feel that I'm more attached to my kids now than I used to be because I was always like in a rush. Go, Paula, do this. And fill my kids with 100 activities. And now I understand the process and I understand that it takes time.
And trust the process,
Yes.
right? Understand, trust, because when you were talking about the seasons, I was thinking to myself, the seasons? We don't even, pay attention to the seasons here. It's just like, just go. Go. So we don't, now it's winter. Now it's summertime. Like more like summer, we think about going to the beach, let's say. But all the others, we really don't have time to pay attention to. And I think I can relate to this thing of being always in a rush. And I don't know if this only for São Paulo, but since you are also from Recife, right? It's same thing.
It's same thing. It's summer all year. Here you still have a little bit of cold, right? There you can go to Campos do Jordão, right? But Recife, it's warm the entire year.
Okay.
So it's nice to enjoy the seasons. Yes.
Nice. So Paula, just going back a little bit to the how Bonjour, what they offer.
Yes.
So you said that in the beginning you already had English, you were fluent in English already.
Yeah, I thought I was fluent in English.
Okay.
I thought because I learned English when I was 15 years old.
Okay.
And then I spent like 20 years open a book in English.
Okay.
Right? It was a long time. So when I did my experience in 2 months in Canada, and I took English class, I remember the first project that I wrote, it was so many red marks. I have no idea. I'm like, what? I did all those mistakes? So I was okay, I have to improve and study more. Now, of course, I consider myself fluent in English, but I think I only achieved that level with hard work and with patience. I would say.
Trusting the process.
Yeah, I remember the first time that I felt that okay, now I feel confident in English. I was riding in the car with my husband, and of course, we turn on the radio, listen, and we stopped laughing, and we look at ourselves and say, we understand a joke in English. Like, yeah. So was the moment that, okay, now I consider myself fluent because I can understand the jokes, because jokes are hard, right? To get them, and to you have to interpret it. So that was the point. So Hi Bonjour is a company, 2 women owned Hi Bonjour Brazilians, one from São Paulo, one from Recife. They moved to Canada, I would say, around 14, 13 years ago, and they saw a lot of Brazilians arriving without planning, without knowing the entire process.
So they wanted to stay there like illegally, would say.
Yes, they went there, the Thais and Camila, they went there with like a work permit, like legal. But people arrived without planning, like how long it takes for me to become fluent, what are the requirements to get into college, universities in Canada, how can I stay, how can I apply for permanent residency. So they start Hi Bonjour in Montreal. It's a very multicultural city and speaks English and French there, that's why Hi Bonjour. And we now work with over 200 institutions all over the world. So we
Not
are
only in Canada.
Not only in Canada. We are specialized in Canada because we live there. We are based in Canada, Colombia, and Brazil. But we also have employees in Germany and New Zealand.
Wow.
So we are now exploring other markets. And our job is to create the right fit for the students. Because every student is unique and they have different needs. So we guide them to the process. Okay, I want to improve my French. I was doing a presentation yesterday and we brought a school from Quebec City explaining like how long it takes to become fluent in French. And she would explain, it's 8 months in a full-time program. No, I only have vacation, have 2 weeks to have an experience. What country is more suitable for your needs, what you want to...
Programs.
Yes.
Which programs.
And also students want to do higher education because there are possibilities. It's possible to study abroad. It's possible to work abroad legally. It's possible for you to move by yourself, with your husband, or with your kids. So we want to explore options and be there for them with registration, documentation, visa process, and also be there for them during the process. Sometimes a student call me and say, Paula, I want to extend my program, I want to stay here. What are my options? And I will show them the options. No, Paula, now I want to change my program. I like it, but now I want to study not English, I want to study French or Spanish, or so we can do that.
I see. And what would be the tips you would give to, let's think of like teenager students who would like to have this dream of living abroad, and also for older students, like people with family already. So what would be the tips? What could you share?
I would say that also plan in advance.
Like how long in advance?
For example, if they want to do like an English program, they can plan like 6 months before, a year before. If they want like a higher education, I would say it takes a little bit longer, 1 year, 2 years, because you need to have a higher level of English.
Okay.
So you need to know beforehand, so you can prepare to get there. Because in your school, okay, you need to get a 7 IELTS. They need to prepare to get that score.
Okay.
Or if I want to get that score there, how long it takes. So we also show them the right test they take to get into the right program.
Okay.
So that's really important too. Another thing that I would say that sometimes we think they're more than what we are, right? Oh, no, I'm fluent. No, I don't need to study. No, I'm still learning today. I'm still learning words. I'm still improving my English. I'm learning French now. We always can learn. Like we make mistakes in Portuguese. Of course. Can you imagine in a second language, right? It's not easy. So understand that it takes time. It's an investment. It's not expenditure. Oh, I'm spending money with English. No, you're investing in your future.
Forever, right?
Yes.
Something that it will last forever.
And choose the program that's related to you, not to your friend that posted it on social media. Because sometimes, for example, London. I love London. I moved with 3 kids. It's perfect for me. But maybe for a younger kid, they want to go to Vancouver because they want to be in a bigger city. They want to explore nature. They want to go into the subway. So you have to know yourself to get to the right place.
And did you ever feel homesick?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And how was that?
I remember the first weekends living abroad, because that's the moment we are with family, right? I remember to have lunch with my dad every Sunday. He used to cook for me. I remember my mom calling me, what do you want to eat this Saturday? Or even the fights. Gossip is around the family, like, oh, did you see what they did? And, you know, I used to miss that. And I remember I spent a lot of time without even listening to Brazilian music because I wanted to improve my English. I was so focused on getting better. It's only English. And I remember the first time that I played a video, it was a Brazilian song. It was about Sangalo. And I started crying. I was like, why I did that to myself? I can live with both moods, right? I can live with both moods. But with time living abroad, my family visited me a couple of times in Canada. I come here to Brazil once, twice a year. So I would say that living abroad is not saying, like, I'm not Brazilian anymore, I'm not part of my culture. I still eat, my son eats couscous until today in the morning. I make tapioca at home. Feijão, beans.
Do you find all this
all
that, to cook at home?
So we make comfort food for our family. And we have also a lot of Brazilian families living abroad. So it becomes our family. So last Christmas was like 4 families inside the house, around 30 people, and we celebrate Christmas.
Nice.
So it is hard. I'm not saying it's 100%. Oh, it's everything really easy. No, there are hard times.
That's the point, because people think that living abroad is like magic. It's like, wow, it's like social media, right? That everything is wonderful, and it's not, right? Especially like missing family and any other problems that you faced, or things that you, not comparing, but that you miss from Brazil that you don't have there?
Even with career, right? I have a law degree. I used to work for TRE here in São Paulo. And like I had a stable job and I have to start my life again, right? I had different jobs. I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? I'm doing that. But of course, with overtime, with my English getting better, I understand the culture, the system. Now I have the job that I love, helping Brazilians to make their dream come true. So for me, it's really fulfilled.
And talking about jobs, what do you think people expect from a professional abroad?
Oh, that's so important, your question, because nowadays professionals, they need to be globally. They cannot think locally, right? And there are a lot of soft skills. So every program in Canada, they have a component of soft skills. That's lacking nowadays. So communication is one. So nowadays, younger people, it's hard for them to communicate because they're always online. They can know to communicate online, but it's hard for them to do a presentation. It's really hard because they live in a bubble, right? A lot of leadership, right?
What do you mean by leadership?
I would say if you want to become an engineer, and you have a project, and you have to guide other people, you have to have the leadership skills. How can you make other people not follow you, but be guided by you? How can you be a true leader? And every profession, you need to have those skills as well. How can you differentiate yourself among other professionals? Here in São Paulo, the competition is huge. Or it can be different among so many people. Everybody has a degree, right? Is your English good enough? Do you have a second language? What other skills do you have that can make the difference? For example, you can be an amazing professional, but if you are working outside Brazil and you're not on time, something so simple, show up on time, be polite. The way we communicate here is different, so you understand other cultures. We verbalize with our hands, you saw a lot of emotions. Can we do that in other countries? Can you act like that? How can you study a country before a meeting, before a certain situation? So if we live in abroad, you understand that your skills here is also valuable. I was talking to you, Brazilians, we are very creative, we're very passionate in everything we do, we think outside the box. But also there are other things that also we need to learn from other countries.
And I think this is very interesting what you're saying, because I can even relate this with our students here learning English, because learning English is not magic, right? It's not like one day or learn English in 8 months or something like that. You can learn another language in 8 months abroad, right? Because you're totally immersed in an environment in which you speak the language 24/7. But here it takes time, and it is a process, and sometimes it involves a lot of soft skills, because sometimes people they jump, like they go from one school to another. Oh, I don't like this teacher, or I don't like this group, or I don't have my best friend in this group, and then they just keep changing and stopping and starting the process over and over again. So I see that learning English or any other language, far from an English-speaking country, for example, it also involves developing soft skills like resilience and I like 80% of the course, but there's this 20 that I don't like it, or even showing up on time. Like people, they want to learn, but they don't want to come to school. Like, oh no, because it's too hot, or I have tests in my regular school, so I'm not, or I'm just going to travel with my family. So I heard more than once in this talk, you saying that you were really focused, you really wanted to learn English. So I think this has a lot of soft skills, right? Because you have determination.
We have to do things. You said one thing that got my mind. We have to do things that we don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that's life.
Yes.
That's life.
To get to the place where you want to.
Yes.
Right? You have to do things you don't like or you don't
things
want
that
to.
you don't like. Yes.
Yeah, because I think people, even especially like living abroad, right? People think it's, wow, it's all good, it's very romantic living abroad, and it's not.
And I say to my students, you're not a tourist anymore.
Yes, that's
so don't act like a tourist. You're not a tourist. You live there.
Uh-huh.
So if you live in São Paulo, would you react like that?
Yeah.
I was in a hotel here in São Paulo, and I was having breakfast, and I noticed something like, because we have a lot of programs, one of them is hospitality, right? And I was thinking, no, I have a degree. I know. We always think that we don't need to learn more. And I was there observing, and I ordered something. A person came, and then he didn't came back to ask, do you want anything else, or do you need your bill, or, and I have to
Call
like, and it was like 10 employees over there. If they could guide them, a really simple skill. Okay, you are responsible for 10 tables. You are responsible for those tables. You're gonna give the menu. You're gonna make the order. Then you're gonna come back to check on them. So there is this process you have to do to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So simple. So they hire more people, but they don't train them to give the right service.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exact thing what people don't know. They want to know English. They have the steps, but they don't want to follow. They don't want to listen. Music in English with a different accent, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you travel, especially in Canada, there are people all over the world. You're not gonna listen to the clear, easy to understand. No. People from India, from Asia, with like the heavy accent, you have to talk to them.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
They don't want to read books. They don't want to read literature. They don't want to do exercise. So
they don't want to leave the process. They don't want to leave the process, right? And I think it's very important. So, Paula, I'm very delighted to have you here, and it's been wonderful. But I know that you have to take your plane, right? So I just want you to summarize, saying something to students who have a dream of living abroad and studying, even college, because what we hear here is that it's very expensive to study abroad, right? University and everything. Like, is it possible to have scholarships, or how this person can get prepared to live abroad and plan so that this dream can come true?
Sure. It took me 2 years to have the right information to make my dream come true.
Okay.
And I would say for them, it's possible. With the right organization, with the right focus, they can do that. Of course, living abroad is not cheap. They need to do an investment, but there are ways they can minimize this investment, as having the right level of English, choosing programs that can also work. There are a lot of programs they can study and work at the same time. So they can live there legally. So they can live there and they work for the expenses. They live there, renting expenses, food, cell phone, everything, right? Plan ahead so you can start saving a little bit. There are scholarships in college universities based on the grades, the English level. So if they have a very high English level, maybe they can have a scholarship of $2,000-3,000. Even if it's not everything, it's a lot.
Yeah.
If you multiply by 4,
of course,
right? So it's a lot. You can save 8,000-12,000 reais.
So the more fluent the student is, the better options they might have.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yes. And choose the program that they can. If they need to improve their English, choose a country they can study English and work. That'll be the option. If they plan ahead, they can do the financial planning They can pay each month a certain amount, so they can go to the country with everything already paid. So that's a good tip as well. And if they want to do higher education, think ahead, plan ahead, so they can start saving before. If they have the amount for the program, they can work it. And they can live by the work. So that's a good option. And another thing is that don't let anyone else say that it's not possible.
Oh, very good.
Don't let
Thank
anyone else
you.
say that to you. It is possible. You can do it.
Yeah, it made me, it reminded me of the sentence, the word impossible, inside it's written, I'm possible, right? Impossible, if you can see the word impossible, it's I'm possible. So, well, Paula, thank you so much. I just want to leave here your Instagram, which is
Paula no Canada. So it's
Paula
very
no
easy.
Canada.
I remember the first time I sent my Instagram to my Canadian friends, said, Paula no Canada?
No Canada.
No, it's Paula. And I explained to them, they didn't know. I didn't know about changing, like all the Brazilians, they know me, Paula no Canada. And also the Instagram from Hi Bonjour, Hi Bonjour. If you open the website and also our Instagram, there's lots of information. You can book with us 30 minutes to talk for free, to get to know Canada and other countries, all the possibilities. Here with the school, we can create like a group and a lot of options for the students. They can have like a program English-based, they can come back with a different vision of Canada and other countries, and they can share with their friends and maybe build another future for them. So thank you very much for having me here.
Thank you, Paula. Thank you so much. So, bye, guys. Thanks for following us, and we'll see you soon.